Hello and welcome back, folks. Here today. We're going to be doing another figure review. This time around on my newly acquired Warhammer 40k Space Marine. This time around of the Blood Angels faction, Intercessors. This right here is another of the Joytoy figures, line of Warhammer 40k figures of Space Marines. And this right here, like I said before, is the Blood Angels faction of their Intercessors. Basically, Intercessors are basically what you would be base troops of the Space Marines, and with what he comes with. But without further ado, folks, let's dive right in with the unboxing of the figure. And starting off with, let's go look at the box before we do anything. Right now, the box is covered in, it's basically the Joytoy figures of their basic special plastic wrap, which has their logo on it. You can see right there, which is not bad at all. And overall, the box of it is pretty nice. We get to see the full detail of our Primaris Space Marine Intercessor, looking pretty nice and well. Now let's go with opening the box by basically cutting off the plastic, which is just a little slide of film. Just use a knife right there just to do it. Ooh. Gotta be careful on that. I'm already almost cutting myself. Which would be ironic knowing Blood Angels, and especially since they are the sons of the Primarch of Sanguinius. One of the many Primarchs of the God Emperor himself. Time to take off the film overall, and now we get to see the box without the film. It looking pretty nice right there. Right there, we have the insignias for the Blood Angels, looking pretty nice. See the artwork of basic Space Marine before we even get him out, looking pretty nice. Pretty sure he's using the shotgun right there. It was right there, bolter, chain sword, basically jetpack, usual backpack, which we usually see with a lot of our Space Marines, especially with a lot of Joytoy ones that we've seen before. Looking pretty nice. Now time to unbox the figure, which this one does not look like it has any plastic at all, so should be able to pop them out real easy. And yeah, slide a little bit left and right. Oh, and actually, before we go to do that, you have the backside right here, showing off how he is fully displayed right here and everything that it comes with, which is not bad at all. Now, back to opening our... Ooh. And one of the things I do love about the Joytoy figures is how they keep their figures in this double plastic wrap to protect them, which actually looks pretty nice. Actually, before you even take him out, he looks really, really well nice. Time to take off the plastic. I'm gonna make sure there's no what's it called, little tape, because sometimes they tend to put tape on these guys. Not all the time, but sometimes they do. Ooh, and luckily no tape. And before we even get the guys out of the box, we have right here, we have our Primaris Blood Angels Intercessor right here, full of his glory. Then we have the chainsword right there. Basically already holstered bolter right there, as we actually do get two versions. Basically holster, which you get actually attach onto him. It's also one, also bolt or holster already on the Space Marine. As basically when you have the regular bolter there, we have the backpack. We have, I'm pretty sure this is the shotgun versus this with the double barrel. Ooh, I'm actually liking the little attachment with the extra rounds right there. I'm actually thinking it's like regular heavy bolter. Then we have the different manipulator hands right here, besides the trigger hand on the right side and the regular open palm grabbing hand for the sword right there. We also have some two closed hands right here. Another trigger hand for the left side and regular grasping hand for the right side. With the accessories, now let's pull out our Space Marine, our Blood Angels, and look at them. Ooh, not gonna lie, I really am liking this shade of red right here. And we all know how much I love the color red. Not gonna lie, I really do need to buy new lighting on here so we can actually do a little bit much more better. Because I feel like my lighting isn't giving the perspective of how good this red color is right here. Because not gonna lie, he looks really, really nice. I think this is my bias just because I think anything in color red is significantly better than anything else. But I'm really, really, really liking how the coloring is designed right here. The face right there, looking really well. See if the camera size to be helpful about this. There we go. That's what we want to see. Chest plate right there, looking pretty nice. I do loving the crimson metallic red right there, looking pretty nice. The gunmetal on the wings right here. The blood right here. And you can see a little bit right there where some of the gold paint kind of fell on there. I kind of feel like I could fix that right there. Overall, not bad at all. Still looking pretty nice right there. legs right here looking really nice. I really liking the decals with the paint job with the skulls right here. Overall, looking pretty nice. The Blood Angels insignia looking pretty well. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see everything as you can. As you can see, backside of the Space Marine looking pretty nice. Overall, looking good. We get the waist belt here, and this is one of the things I actually do like about the Joytoy figures, is that you can actually customize the waist. So, like the extra parts right here, you can actually attach multiple parts. So you can actually customize your own Space Marines to basically make your own version of yours. If you want to basically make your own OC, you can actually detach some of these and basically make your own, like I'll show you in a second. So let's get one of the one with the holster right there. Already trying to get this out. We actually have different attachments. We actually can detach the regular one that's on here. Just pop it off, as these are on technically their own bolt joints, and we actually can make it look like he's holding it like this right here. And you can actually do this for either side. So you actually have this holding for the right side too. So we can pop this out in here. We can swap out the pouch that you have right here. Pop this one out. Just got to be careful not to break it. And then we can just holster this on the left side. That way, if you want your Space Marine to basically almost be dual wielding, you can actually do that. You have the one holster over here and the other one over here. And boom. Now you basically have your holstering. Basically one holster on the right side, another one on the left side. You can actually do it for both if you have enough Space Marines, which I actually do, so which I might do if I ever get around doing my own custom Space Marine, which I might later down the line. But yeah, let me just reattach the old side skirt back. Like I said before, if you get a good number of your own Joytoy figure Space Marines, and with the amount of attachments they come with especially with their waist and holsters, you can actually have a good amount right there. Overall, I'm really liking how he looks. He looks phenomenal. He looks really, really nice. It's what we want. And going with the rest of the stuff, besides the holster pistol, which we've already seen right here, which looks pretty nice. It's basically just everything with how it should be. If the camera decides to ever feel like doing its job, there we go. That's what we want to see. Oh, come on, camera. We just had it right there. There we go. That's what we want to see right there. The holster pistol with the parchment paper, which actually looks pretty nice. Actually, it's really, really nice detail right there. Going from there, we got pretty sure this is a heavy bolter. Because I'm pretty sure it's not the shotgun, more of the heavy bolter. We can see more of the rounds right there. I actually do like the sash right there with the extra bullets. Looks really nice. The paint job on this, the paint job on this is actually really, really nice right there. This is what you want with a lot of these figures. And Joytoy figures actually does really well with a lot of their paint jobs for a lot of their figures. If the camera can actually refocus again. There we go. That's what we want. Like, they really, really do well in their details. And it's actually one of the things why I really like about Joytoy figures. Like, their paint job and the details for all the weaponry is basically on point. Is what we want. And it's just phenomenal right there. Overall, really, really phenomenal. Let's try to grab the rest of the stuff too. Let's go with the chain sword as well. The detail for this is phenomenal right here. The paint job on the gold, the gunmetal black, the silver chrome, really, really popping out sharpness. I do love the whole skull thing right there with the gold right there, actually really popping out. I don't know if my lighting is bringing it through as kind of I want to. Come on, trying to bring everything else coming out. Then we have the backpack right here, which is actually not bad at all. Besides it being just regular basic, it still works out well as we want to. Especially for the Space Marines right there. It looks phenomenal and nice. Coloring looks pretty good. There we go. Finally got the bolter out of its little thing right here. And actually, there's something I'm going to show you right now in a second about this. Is that this actually has a detachable clip for it. Let me show you, I think. Think about it. Aha, there we go. So this right here, it can actually detach the clip. Now, I don't know if some of the other Space Marine ones that I have can do this. But I saw this on the pictures for this, and I was like, ooh, that's actually going to be nice. Kind of wish I actually added a little more magazines, but that's actually still pretty nice and well. It actually goes in there pretty well, doesn't fall off. and you just basically clip it, and you actually hear the clip on it. It's actually pretty well done. The painting and detail work on this is still phenomenal, great, like I said before. And then, like I said before, we have the other hand attachment points as well. The multiple manipulator hands you see right here. Ooh, I don't want them to fall, but you can see right here the multiple different manipulator hands right here. So he has 6 in total. So basically, you can do however movements you want. And then last but not least, he does come with a clear display stand right here, which I guess for at least the newer Space Marines, they're giving them basically, well, I don't know. I've been back and forth with some of them having clear stands, other ones having basically just the black stands that I've shown before with my previous Joytoy figure. So I guess it really depends on what you get. Either they go with clear, or they go with just the little simplistic black or gray stand. Overall, not bad at all. Now with that out of the way, let's go with some articulation. Going off with the head right here. As most figures, they're on ball joints, so it can spin around, bob and weave, no problem at all. We can take his arm all the way over there and spin around because it is on the ball joint. It can only go all the way up here just because, I've mentioned this before with a lot of the Space Marine ones, because of the shoulders. They kind of do block trying to move at least much up as possible when they're trying to move their arm up, because of the shoulder armor kind of blocking it a little bit. But they can spin around because they're on a ball joint, so they can do that. Arms aren't technically on those double ball joints, so they can technically go a little bit more, like right there. But like again before, the armor does kind of block it, so you gotta really move it in there. Hands are on their own so ball joints, so you can actually move them around like this, and not that bad at all. Their torsos on kind of those wedge double ball joints, so they actually can move around 360 and bob and weave like that, so that's actually pretty nice. The legs are kind of blocked, like I said before, because they're kind of like in those little stick joints. So this is as far as we're gonna get with him basically being able to move what's called like splits. It's not terrible. They are bulky soldiers after all. The legs able to go that much up, and as much as I'm trying to force it because I don't want to break these. Legs able to bend all the way down. It does have a double ball joint, but like I said before, armor tends to block this, and that's kind of be a thing that you're going to be seeing with a lot of these. Like, they do have movement, but because of the armor, it will block. Legs also on its own swivel ball joint, but because of the armor, it is being blocked too as well. So it's something you should expect. I've said this before in my previous Joytoy Space Marine figure reviews on my other 3, that they do have movement. It's just the armor bulkiness does block it. The feet does have that little split right there, so technically it can move that. So that way, if you want to do like some kneeling pose and stuff, you can do that. Overall, not that bad at all. The leg's able to go actually this much back, which is actually pretty nice, because it doesn't, unlike with some figures, his butt flat isn't that too in the way, so he actually could go all the way back with his legs. So that's actually pretty nice. Overall, articulation, not the best, but overall not the worst. Still able to do articulation, just like I said before, bulky armor tends to block, and that's the thing that you will see a lot with these Joytoy Space Marine figures, that a lot of the armor tends to block any free movement you need to see for these guys. But overall, the articulation is not that bad. But yeah, now let's go with some comparisons. So now time to compare with some of my other Space Marines, starting off with my Salamanders right here. And basically just going between the differences between all of them basically right here. Oh, well, besides the fact that different color palette swaps and the different insignias that they will always have. Overall, still pretty great. Like I said before, a lot of the Joytoy figures are really phenomenal as their basic detailing, design, and paintwork. All of them really, really well. All of them basically different, but still the same. Because each are different factions with different armors. Overall, still looking pretty phenomenal regardless. Going from my Salamanders to my Space Wolf. Once again, like I said before, the differences between them are basically just the different color palettes. Some basically just added accessories for each of their own factions. Different insignias. Overall, still phenomenal. Still looking pretty nice. I do say so myself. And then last but not least, talking about a little bit more different, almost a little bit slightly customization with my Lieutenant Ultramarine right here. Was a little bit much more different as the higher grade, as I guess the more ranks you get, the more different specialization armors you get. So you can see a little bit difference with the armor right here, with the different coatings between regular base Space Marine versus a higher rank Space Marine right here with my Ultramarine right here, with the different customizations. You can see the difference right here with their armors. Overall, still pretty nice, still pretty good with the articulation. I mean, the detail work, overall, still pretty nice. And comparing it to the rest of my Space Marines. And let's go with a little bit more with some of my other Joytoy figures. We have one of my Sisters of Battle. With one. With two over here. Ooh, gotta make sure she stands perfectly right here. Overall, really not bad. As what's called, they are going to be size to size with most of them right here. Overall, still pretty nice with different comparisons. Let's go with the next one. And then let's compare it to some of my other figures. And since right now I have on my left side, we have my SH figure. It's a Kamen Rider Ryuki, who is going to be a little bit slightly taller. As another thing too, I won't mention a lot about the Joytoy figures. As the Space Marines, they're relatively like around the 5.5 inch mark, where the Ryukis are going to be at least a little bit above that. Some of the SH figures are a little bit more like 5.5. The Space Marines are actually going to be a little bit much more smaller. So they're kind of like in the same point where, like I was mentioned before with the Tallgeese, where the Tallgeese was the Gundam universe was upsized, the Space Marines here were kind of a little bit more downsized, but it's not that bad. They still look phenomenal, I will say that. And then last but not least, about my Warhammer 40k figures, I actually do have one McFarlane of the Warhammer 40k of the Sisters of Battle. This one's actually one of my bigger ones right here, and it's actually one of my first into my Warhammer 40k figures. I saw this all the way back when they were so. Yeah, they kind of do have a little bit of the. This is something kind of realized a lot of figures that they do have some ability not to want to stand when they want to or not. But what's called this actually, but this Sisters of Battle was actually one of my first into the Warhammer 40k stuff. As I saw this at Target, like almost like 4 or 5 years back, and I decided to get it when it was actually relatively cheap. Now it's actually for this actually it's kind of expensive, but overall not bad at all. On to final thoughts. And with that, folks, out of the way, that is it for my review for my Warhammer 40k Joytoy figures, Blood Angels Intercessor. Overall, really nice figures, as you say to myself. As one of this right here, as the Intercessors for the Joytoy figures are basically kind of like the base Space Marines that you would get. Basically the regular stuff that you would see right there. Ooh, let me just fix that right there. Overall, not a bad figure. The amount of success actually comes with actually not bad at all. We have just different manipulated hands. We have some different attachment points for the waist right there. We have multiple different weapons. We have the chain sword. We have the different bolters, heavy bolters. We have the regular pistol bolter right here, as you can see right here. And overall, the detail work for this is actually phenomenal. The paint job is actually pretty great. Like I said before, Joytoy figures really does well with a lot of their figures, especially this Warhammer 40k stuff. A lot of them is really phenomenal and great. And I do recommend it if you want this. I do recommend getting it. It's actually pretty nice. The price for this is actually not bad at all. It's like around like $22 is what I got it on Amazon. And you can probably get it from there and a couple other places. But overall, really good figure. I do recommend it, especially if you're a Warhammer 40k fan, and especially if you're a fan of the Blood Angels as well. I do recommend this figure. But without a way, folks, that is it for this review. Hopefully you guys liked it, enjoyed it, and please consider like and share, subscribe, as I always do appreciate it, folks. And as always, have a nice day. This is I, Pardon, signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, folks.